Now our See Here reporter Sam examines the state of play of cinema subtitling. Let's take a look.
Hello there. You know I love films, love making them and watching them, and going to the cinema. In fact, I love everything about films. And most of you out there love cinema as well, but getting access can be a problem. So I asked some regular cinema goers what their experiences were. When you see it, it may all feel very familiar.
Subtitled cinema is fantastic. I feel a part of the world, a part of the people. I enjoy it the same as everyone else, and I'm not excluded from this everyday event. I want to be able to turn up when I want to, not have to check for special subtitled viewings, but just go when I want to.
I'm an Orange mobile user, which gives me free cinema tickets on Wednesdays. But my cinema only subtitles films on Tuesdays and Sundays, but not Wednesdays. I've asked if I can use my free ticket, but they said only on Wednesdays. I think that's discrimination.
So there we have some experiences from deaf people, and many are often negative, which is why we decided to look into the current access to subtitles.
In theory, things should have vastly improved over the last few years. According to Cinema Access website yourlocalcinema.com, most popular UK cinemas and film releases are now accessible to people with a hearing loss. In the last 5 years, the weekly number of subtitled or captioned films in UK cinemas has increased by 500%. This sounds like good progress. Let's find out.
I'm here in Leicester Square, London. There are many cinemas in this area. I'm going to discover how easy it is to catch a subtitled film these days. I'm visiting several different cinemas, booking to see a subtitled film in each, and using a hidden camera to see if it goes well. But before that, let's find out about the process of getting the subtitles on screen. I'm going to meet Mark Beattie of the Film Distributors Association to explain more. In the past, films had to be subtitled, which deaf people could enjoy, but as the talkies came in, subtitles disappeared. Recently they've re-emerged. Can you tell me how and why?
Yes, that's right. In the very early days of cinema, in the 1900s, there were a lot of captions that were used and films would play to music. And then when sound came in from the late 1920s onwards, it was a big newfangled technology. Everybody wanted sound installed as quickly as they could get it installed. But it's really been digital technology in recent years that has been the game changer. What digital means is that instead of running celluloid film through a projector, cinemas are projecting from digital files, and every digital projection system installed in cinemas has the capability to present digital subtitles and audio description tracks. It's become an integral part of every cinema now.
Does this mean that with digital we are guaranteed subtitles now?
It's not necessarily a guarantee, but if you have the file of subtitles there, then the technology does enable you literally to switch it on or off.
So that's the theory behind subtitles, but what about in practice? I'm going to meet Dee Davison, Senior Policy Executive from the Cinema Exhibitors Association, to find out more. Could you tell me what the CEA is?
Yeah, the CEA is the Cinema Exhibitors Association, and we are the UK trade body for cinemas. We think the cinema is the best place to watch a film, and we want to make sure that as many people as possible can do that. So that's why we spend a lot of our time, and the cinema operators spend a good deal of their time trying to improve access for deaf and hard of hearing customers.
So what would your advice be to those people having difficulties accessing subtitled viewings?
Normally there are two main reasons why subtitles might not work. Firstly, the subtitle track might not arrive in time at the cinema to be shown with the film, or secondly, sometimes technology fails us. But if there's a good reason why the subtitles don't work, you should be able to hear that. And so we should say, if something does go wrong, then you should complain. And all of our members at the CEA would agree that it's not acceptable for you to have your trip to the cinema ruined like that. So we would say, complain.
So if anyone wants to find out more information, like the times for a subtitled showing, where can they go?
Well, Your Local Cinema, it's a website. The address is www.yourlocalcinema.com. Basically is a listings website which sets out across the UK all of the subtitled and audio described screenings there are out there. So that's a really good place to go. They've got over 70,000 people on their database, and they get news and alerts about accessible screenings. I mean, also all of the main operators, would have information about accessible screenings on their websites too.
What improvements have there been to access technology?
What digital means for deaf and hard of hearing customers is, of course, that cinemas with digital projectors are all capable of screening subtitled films, providing the films come with subtitles on them. There's a number of different systems sort of emerging into the market for personalised subtitling. You ran a piece last year on the subtitling glasses. There's also some technology which is a small screen that kind of fits into the cup holder of your seat. So there's different products out there. We're looking as an association to work with the industry to run some testing and some trials on these new products so that we can understand more about them.
But while we're waiting for personal subtitling solutions, we're still happy to rely on normal subtitles. The CEA recently supported the development and distribution of short cinema trailers to raise awareness of accessible screenings. Let's take a look.
Problems with your hearing? How about this?
How'd you even find me?
I looked up handsome in the phone book, and then I called him up and asked for your address.
These trailers promote what is currently available for our audience.
Problems with your hearing? How about this?
Is it true a cat always lands on its feet?
Oh, that is just a rumor spread by dogs!
Sam spoke to Rebecca Griffin from Action on Hearing Loss to see what their thoughts on the subject are.
For many years we've been campaigning on this issue. We realise that not all films will be subtitled all of the time, but we've worked really hard to make the cinema industry realise that deaf and hard of hearing people go to work, so it's not always a good thing to have the one subtitled screening at midday, for example. And over the last few years things have really got a lot better.
A deaf person may go and complain to the cinema staff or to the manager, but it will often feel like they aren't really taking any notice. So how can deaf people really make themselves heard?
Well, I think face-to-face is best, and I think that in local communities, cinemas really do want to do the best for their customers. So I would always say to deaf and hard of hearing people, that's the first port of call. But if not, what we're going to be doing is introducing a system on the Action on Hearing Loss website that will enable people to complain directly to the people who matter. So whether that's the distributor or whether it's local cinemas, we're going to, at the back end of this system, make sure that at one click, supporters and members can come into our website and make those complaints directly.
Well, it's about time I watched a film. According to Mark Beatty, it's up to each individual cinema chain to decide what films should be subtitled. Therefore, I shouldn't have any trouble in watching the most popular films. So I'm going to View Cinema to watch Frankenweenie. Hopefully everything will run smoothly, but I've got my camera here to catch what happens. Let's see how it goes.
Unfortunately, the camera didn't work too well the first time.
Well, with View it was very smooth. There were 3 things. I was told that they have a daily showing of the same film at 12:30 each day. The man's attitude was fantastic, and he double-checked the showing to make sure it was subtitled. And he asked if I had my CEA card, which I had forgotten about. Then I took my seat.
Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yes, that's fine. You swipe the first thing, it's fine.
Problems with your hearing? How about this?
How'd you even find me?
I looked up handsome in the phone book.
Communication was a little shaky, but he made sure it was indeed subtitled. But after taking my seat, I had to sit through 30 minutes of adverts that weren't subtitled.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You? This one. One there, one there. Yeah.
I saw Skyfall, and all was well. When I arrived, I asked if it was subtitled and was given a leaflet with available times. When I went to the counter to book a ticket, she told me that it was indeed subtitled. I went into the cinema, I took my seat, and all went well. It was subtitled throughout. So well done, Odeon.
Well, all seemed to go okay today, but what have other people got to say?
I've gone to the cinema with my daughter, who is hearing, but they refuse to reduce the entrance fee for me. Even when I explain there are no subtitles, they say I have to pay the full price. So that's it, I don't go. I feel sorry for my daughter though, who wants to go to the cinema. She has to go with hearing parents or her friends, but I can't go.
I recently had a really annoying experience. I went to the cinema and there were no subtitles, so I complained that there were no subtitles, but was told the machine was broken. I asked to speak to someone else, so they called someone who said the same thing, but the third person I complained to was able to switch them straight on.
If you've got any other experiences, please let us know. Meanwhile, AOHL are also keeping up the pressure.
Just recently, some of our members got in touch with me to say that they weren't able to find a subtitled screening of the film Hysteria. And I contacted the distributor, Sony Pictures, who informed me that the film was in fact screened in the UK, but without subtitles. So the distributor had made a decision not to show subtitled screenings in the UK. Which seemed very strange because I guess at some point this film was screened in the US with subtitles, where the law is slightly different, but it begs the question, why couldn't that then be transferred over to the UK? I'm sure that deaf and hard of hearing people would rather see American subtitles than no subtitles.
We invited Sony for a reply and we'll let you know their response via our website, so check online for the latest information. The CEA are tackling things head-on.
Some cinemas have brilliant staff that can help, any customer with any need, but it does vary, and particularly in some of the kind of multiplex sites, the turnover of staff is so high that it's just really challenging to make sure that, every single person knows about every possible adjustment in the cinema or subtitling or technical adjustment that might need to take place. So what we've done as an industry is we came together and we've produced a film and a big supporting pack of training materials, and that's being rolled out to cinemas across the country as part of their training.
In the last 10 years, the situation has rapidly transformed for the better, I'm delighted to say, and at any one time in cinemas now, 9 or 10 of the top 10 films will be available with subtitles. And I think if you find that something isn't on locally with subtitles as you'd want it to be, then please ask.
The future looks interesting. Technology is good, options are good, and the timings of screenings are an improving picture. So the future looks good. I'm still not sure about personal subtitling solutions, but as I said, who knows what the future will hold.
Do let us know what your experiences of cinemas are. Well, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed the programme. See you next time. Bye!